My blood ran cold. I was just about to step into the sleek black sedan, waiting by the curb, the one my father insisted I take, when I heard it. A man's voice, rough and broken, cut through the air like shattered glass. "Don't take that car." I froze. His eyes were red and tired but sharp, locking onto mine. I didn't argue. Something deep inside told me to listen. So I turned, walked right past the car, and called a cab instead. Minutes later, I understood why. I grew up in a house where silence was louder than any argument. My parents smiled for the world but tore each other apart behind closed doors. From them, I learned early appearances were everything. The only person who didn't play their cruel games was my grandfather. With him, I wasn't a pawn. I was family. He once told me, "The wolves will smile when they strip you bare." Learn to smile sharper. Back then, I didn't get it. Now I do. When I turned 25, things started to change. My father's eyes lingered too long on my finances. My mother's voice turned sweet in a way that felt rehearsed. Then came the small mistakes, a missing signature here, a redrafted contract there. Bit by bit, my inheritance was slipping into places I couldn't follow. I dug quietly, carefully, until I found it. A trust fund under my name, emptied not by strangers, but by my own parents. Their betrayal wasn't sudden. It was slow and deliberate. They hadn't just taken my money. They'd stolen the future my grandfather built for me. I didn't explode. Anger is loud and reckless. Instead, I remembered what he taught me. Smile sharper, so I did. I became the perfect son again. I laughed at my father's hollow jokes. I let my mother fix my tie and pretend to care. All the while, I was collecting everything they didn't realize they'd given me: documents, signatures, secret recordings of whispered deals. Piece by piece, I built my case. Then I waited for the will reading. That would be the stage. Every relative, every liar, every parasite in one room, the perfect audience. But before the curtain could rise, they made one last move. That car. They thought they could get rid of me before the show even started. The homeless man, they probably hired him as a distraction. Or maybe he was someone the guilt had in silence fast enough warned me. And I listened. When I showed up, alive and untouched, I didn't just bring evidence. I brought a ghost from their past. My grandfather once told me about a man he trusted more than his own son. A man erased from family history for refusing to play their games. I found him years later, living forgotten on the streets. He was the one who stopped me that day. And now, he followed behind me into the will reading. The lawyer cleared his throat. "We'll begin." My parents looked calm, polished until they saw him. The color drained from their faces. My mother's hand gripped the table. My father's jaw fell slack. Because standing behind me was the man they betrayed decades ago, the brother my grandfather never truly disowned. The man holding the original will. I laid the folder on the table and spoke evenly. "Before we begin, there are a few corrections." The air in the room turned heavy. Gasps rippled through the crowd like a current. One by one, I revealed everything: the missing funds, the fake contracts, the recordings. And finally, the real will they never knew existed. It named me as the sole heir, with my grandfather's estranged brother as executor. My father tried to speak, but his voice cracked. My mother broke down crying. The lawyer didn't flinch. "All assets revert," he said firmly. "Fraud voids any claim." My parents crumbled under the weight of their own greed. I didn't smile. Not yet. As the room fell into whispers, I stood. The man behind me, my great-uncle, placed a steady hand on my shoulder. Justice wasn't about noise. It was about the silence that followed. The silence where my parents' empire fell apart, where their legacy bled out across polished marble floors. I had reclaimed what was mine, not with rage or fire, but with precision. As I walked out, I finally let out a breath I'd been holding for years. They thought they could use me. They thought they could erase me. But I was my grandfather's heir, and now they finally understood what that meant.